people get involved in your campaign. They say, you know what, I love this woman. I love what she's doing. She's fighting for us. This is John Villarreal reporting for Conservative New Media.
We're going to talk to all these people in the 4 o'clock hour. What are you worried about? After you saw that debate, do you not see a strong woman? Do you not see someone that's standing up for Californians? Do you not know that that's someone that's engaged, that wants to be a strong conservative and get things done and still is open-minded? I mean, what more do you have to see? You saw the enemy camp there with Barbara Boxer. You saw someone that was confused, not engaged, not answering questions. I believe trying to, use the military in almost as a prop after she punked out that nice general at the...
Call me, Senator.
Oh,
or call me, Senator.
Gosh.
John is out in Modesto. Let's go there. John, good afternoon.
All I knew was I didn't like Boxer, and after watching that, she got slammed. She got handed her head on the table, so she really lost the debate. No,
you're sure of that?
No doubt about that.
So tell me this: are you going to vote Fiorina or something else?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
What did you see that you liked?
One of the questions that was about the, and I know you talked about this at one point, was about where she was addressing the general, and then she told the general to call
me Senator. Right.
Yeah, and then her answer for that was the biggest
so
lie. It would get you mad if you heard it.
We've seen it here, and we detailed it back when it happened. All right, John, appreciate the call. I said this last week. I will no longer compromise my standards just to win.
Well,
that's not going to happen.
And there's a poll, and I agree with you, and there's a poll that backs you up on that. The new Gallup poll shows the highest rate of what is quote-unquote antagonistic voting out there, meaning that there's a huge Republican wave, and you'll see Republican insiders from California, which, if you look at their win-loss record, is freaking horrible. And a lot of people, whether it's Rush Limbaugh or Michelle Malkin, have railed against them personally and whatnot. And or the national level, whatever like that. But the thing is that you have all these Republican leaders like, oh, yay, Republicans, everyone's for the Republican. And I've been a lifelong Republican, card-carrying, voted Republican every single time, never voted for a Democrat. But what this poll says is basically that people are voting against the Democrats in the highest measure in history. And so this is really a vote against Obama and against the Democrats. It's a referendum on them. It's not so much for the Republicans.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
And I get that people are going to do that. What I'm saying to you is I'm not voting against anything. If I don't have something to vote for, I'll leave it blank.
Okay.
I'm not going to vote for a Republican candidate just to beat Dennis Cardoza, Jerry McNerney,
I've done that.
Babs Boxer.
I've done that.
Not going to happen.
And that may happen again this election.
All right. Well, I think you're selling out, but that's another.
No, I mean, like where you leave it blank.
I know. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. All right. Well, what do you think? Did Carly convince you to vote for you? Are you like me? What's convincing you that Carly meets my conservative values or your conservative values, or are you just pragmatic about it and she's the one that can win? What do you think? 551-3043, 866-770-5556. It is a catch-up Friday episode of The Big Show. We've got fun with news coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. JDV is here.
Yeah.
You're welcome. It's a getaway Friday. I know everybody's kind of...
It's a party Friday. We're going to have a party here.
The boss is gone. Everybody's gone today, so we can kind of loosen it up a little bit. Let's go to Sacramento. That's where Amy Thomas is. She's the press secretary for the Fiorina campaign. Amy, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So tell me, what you're in the campaign up there. What's your guys' view of the debate? How did it go from your viewpoint?
I think that Carly was able to clearly demonstrate that she is the candidate in this race who knows how to create jobs and put Americans back to work and get the economy moving again. I think by every measure that the stimulus has failed and that policies supported by Barbara Boxer and other Washington insiders have led to, what we've seen today, which is an uptick in unemployment. So, I think that Carly really showed that she has what it takes to, get to Washington and really take our government back, make it listen, and make it work.
Now you know that from the leftist viewpoint, and I'll put you on the spot here. I'm not playing favorites here. From the leftist standpoint, that's one of the areas they're hitting Carly hardest on, because she says that now, but of course back when HP, she was right-sizing jobs and sending them overseas, and that's where they're hitting her hardest on that right now.
Well, while Carly was CEO of HP, she managed it through the worst technology recession that we have seen.
I was there. And that whole thing. I mean, let me, and not to cut you off here, but hopefully to help you out, let me just say this. Again, as a corporate securities lawyer and everything like that, Carly had a duty to her shareholders to do whatever it takes to improve the share value and the health of HP. And that's it. That's her duties. And if she didn't do that, she would have been facing all kinds of problems and losses.
I'm with you there.
But that's different than saying, as a policy, what can we do with tax policy and other stuff to try to keep jobs here and whatnot like that. That's a whole different thing. Her focus was different. It was so obvious to me that Carly was in total command. This was the best Carly that we've ever seen. She was fired up. She was energized. She wanted to bring jobs here. Babs Boxer couldn't defend her record. She was 30 years in a time warp. She looked like she was confused. And, I mean, Carly was so on fire. It was, like I said, en fuego. Sorry, Amy.
All right, Amy. I'm coming back to you.
Barbara Boxer has been in Washington for 28 years and been in elected office for 34, which incidentally is longer than most Californians have been alive. So, you know.
I'll speak for yourself on that one, but I've been around. So here's my question, though, Amy, and let me push you a little hard. You're the press secretary. You got to be able to take the heat here. In a world where, you know, when you say, okay, you got a fiduciary responsibility to shareholders, to most average people, that sounds like Wall Street insiders and bankers and rich people, blah, blah, blah. She was pandering to the rich. How are you going to explain to people that the shareholders for HP, the shareholders for these things, are things like retirement funds, mutual funds, places where people have their small amounts of money invested, because they are trying to portray this as she was pandering to the rich and sending jobs overseas, not being responsible in a fiduciary manner to the investors, to HP.
Well, you know, Carly really understands, and she had to make a lot of tough choices while she was CEO of Hewlett-Packard, and she understands why jobs come and why they go. And if you look at the policies by Texas, by Maryland, Ireland, places like that, they are doing things to attract jobs, things that we need to do, you know, in Washington and in California. And if you go to Carly's website, which is www.carlyforca.com, and click on jobs, you can download Carly's full economic plan, which is full of details about how she's going to get Americans back to work, and use that knowledge that she gained while she was CEO of HP of why the jobs come and why they go. I think at the end of the day, Washington has created a regulatory environment that makes it very difficult for business, and small business in particular, to flourish. So,
all right, but you're on a conservative talk show right now. You got a bunch of conservative listeners who are going to get hit by this is a big weekend, so they're going to go out. It's the last weekend of summer. They're going to run into the liberals out on the beach or at the, you know, wherever they are, and the conversation's going to come up. Give them that one hard-hitting point that proves that Fiorina knows what she's talking about, that they can take with them out there into the big, wide, wonderful world on a Labor Day weekend.
You know, I think that people, particularly in the Central Valley where you are, just need to look at how things are. When President Obama and Barbara Boxer passed the stimulus package, they promised that it would bring help and hope. And since that stimulus passed, unemployment has gone up more than 2%. I believe it's at 12.4% in California. And people need to ask themselves, do they want a Washington insider who was in this Congress at the time that the stimulus passed, that by every measure has failed, or do they want a political outsider like Carly Fiorina, who has the first-hand experience of how to create jobs in Washington? And I think that people also need to realize that Barbara Boxer has not been a friend to the Central Valley. She has refused to override the biological assessment to get the water flowing to bring relief to Central Valley farmers. And Carly has said that one of the first things she'll do when she gets to Washington, D.C. is to work with Senator Dianne Feinstein to get that water turned back on.
All right, I'm going to give you one for free. I want you to take this with you. If the Fiorina people like it, this is my personal attack line, I guess, on this. You ready?
Yeah. Can't wait to hear it.
Okay. We got a liberal Democrat administration. We got a liberal Democrat in Babs Boxer, and by the way, in Dennis Cardoza, Jerry McNerney, and others as well. You with me here so far?
I'm with you.
We passed this $1 trillion stimulus package, in which case we're paying for weather studies in Texas, on Venus, on all kinds of places in other states, not here in California. Now, in the middle of all this stimulus package, here in the great Central Valley, California, we got $47 million for high-speed internet. You know how much we got for mortgage relief? In Dennis Cardoza's own words, and I'm quoting him here, a drop in the bucket. So if liberal Democrats in a liberal Democrat administration with liberal spending policies can't help their own people, they're colossal failures. They can't, by their own standards, they're failures. Why should they be sent back even by Democrats?
Yeah, I think if you look at the stimulus, there is all kinds of waste, fraud, and abuse. If you look at it, there was money in there to photograph exotic ants.
I'm with you there. I'm just saying, if they can't bring us some of that money here, what good are they?
Yeah, and since Barbara Boxer has been in Washington, D.C., the amount of money that California has been getting back from Washington has declined.
Oh, yeah, so. we're dead last. All right, well, Amy, I appreciate your time today, and if you guys want to use that one, just give me a little credit down there at the bottom, and I'll be happy with that, all right?
Cool asterisk.
All right, thanks for dropping by today.
Thanks,
Amy. Good to see you. This afternoon's live on KFIV, AM 1360 Modesto. I had your microphone shut off.
No,
sorry.
I don't know why. It's fine.
Sorry, I was trying to talk to Amy.
No, it's okay. We love Amy, and we love what she said.
I'm hoping they'll use mine.
I love your point, and it's exactly right on target. It's here's these liberals who have promised everything, and I don't care if you're talking about the war on poverty and all that type of stuff. None of it's worked. Well, none of it's worked. And in fact, in a lot of ways, it's made things worse. Why don't you want someone like Carly Fiorina, who's a fighter, who's real, who's gone out there and worked with people, who shows that she's of the people and is going to fight for Californians, instead of some elitist snob from San Francisco who makes fun of our generals on public national TV? I think it's disgraceful, and looked like she was completely in a daze in that debate.
551-3483, 866-770-5556 on the web, KFIV 1360.com. Way long in this break. That's the advantage of a catch-up Friday. Here's Kai with news.